Hey everybody, I'm pretty stoked about this one. What is it, you ask? Oh wow, look at that! An exclusive miniature for the New England Mordheim Open. Bruno the Bear for Nemo, the event at Under the Dice Fest 2026, October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Our buddy Marcello sculpted this for us. Outstanding build of the art on the front of the pack. I did that little bear sketch on the back of the blister pack. It was cast in Italy. This is a genuine community effort, all things considered, and we're all very excited about it. So yeah, this miniature will be given to anyone who makes or brings a board for the Mordheim Open. That's right. If you make a board for our event, just like every other year, there will be an exclusive miniature. This year, it is an extremely awesome metal bear with a blunderbuss. He's got his fez on. He's got a bandolier with the charges across his chest for his blunderbuss. The bandana, boots, bracelets, or shackles, whatever your story is for this miniature when you paint him up. But yeah, it's killer, and it's perfectly fits in with that 15th to 17th century empire look. Or as a perfect hired mercenary for Mordheim, which is what the New England Mordheim Open is all about. So yeah, bring those boards and get a bear. And now you can watch me scrape the extremely minimal mold lines. And I'm not saying this because this is a miniature that a friend made that was cast for our event. This thing has had a little mold line on the fez that took me seconds to get rid of. Other than that, this thing is nuts. But anyway, yeah, watch me prep and paint this little beautiful bear. I plucked him off his tab, his slotted base tab there, because I'm gonna do a little specialty base for him. But he does come with a base, obviously, a square base for that classic Mordheim vibe. Yeah, so I grabbed a different square base in the same size, but I wanted to do a special little base for him since he's kind of a display model, or at least just a nice example of this cool mini. So prepping the base here, I carved into, this is my first time doing cobblestones like this for a Mordheim base. Usually I just put down green stuff or whatever and cut in the cobblestones or the brickwork on that, but I decided to carve into cork here and add some sand and hopefully have a little bit of a dynamic base. There he is. Look at that. Great model, okay base, and we'll move on from here. And boom, look at that. Boom, he's friggin' primed. So classic Zenithal prime. I especially did a Zenithal in this guy because I wanted the highlights and everything that you get with that. And did it work? I don't know. Who knows? There's no way to know. Yeah, so starting with the browns, figured it's the best color to start with on this guy. Blocking in the fur and all that. I didn't really know where I was going to bring the color of this fur. I guess in my mind I wanted him to be like a brown bear kind of thing, with the understanding that he is from a fantasy world full of ghouls and vampires and elves and dwarfs and chaos demons. So I wasn't using any actual bears for reference because who knows what's in the woods of Kislev, where this guy might be from. So yeah, just a general mid-tone brown to start. Then I can kind of go up and down from there color wise. Did the base in a medium gray. A lot of these are just kind of mixed on my palette from various paints, and I understand that people ask for specific paint colors, and when I can provide them I will, or in the video for example you can pause it and see what paints I'm using. But sometimes it's just gray. It's not necessarily about the exact tone, it's about the overall idea and the story you're telling with these colors. So like I said, if I can make it specific, I will, or pause the video like that, for example, when I show the paint. Other than that, you can ask, and maybe I'll have an answer, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just say it's a color I mixed 4 weeks ago, and I have no idea what it was. So yeah, starting with the fez here. This is a classic looking like mid-19th century French zouave fez, like a Turkish style fez. I don't know if that's what Marcello was planning on with this exact one. It's kind of like a Shriner fez here in the U.S. But great fez, great shape, great tassel length, 10 out of 10 in my opinion. And then for the blunderbuss, I'm just base tone or base color black, really dark brown for the butt of the gun. And nice thing, I really like how he sculpted the butt of this gun, because if this bear were to like shoulder it, or if anyone were to shoulder this blunderbuss, it would just like stab into them. It's just like, it's like broken wood. I think that's such a neat artistic choice on the sculpting end of this. And we're hit a little gray highlight on the base there, hitting some brown Agrax earth shade wash on the bear. I go back and forth with some washes and highlights on the skin tone to see where I kind of want it in the end, but this kind of fur has always been one of those things, like for decades of painting miniatures now, fur can just be like such a simple base coat highlight wash, or base coat wash highlight like recipe, and it always looks fine. So I try to do a little more on this guy, but in the end, it's, I wanted this to be like an attainable paint job, like most of my videos here. Not that anything I do isn't attainable, but I wanted it to be like a pretty straightforward paint job, which is what this was. So a one sitting paint job, just making sure that it looks cool, it's tabletop ready, a couple nice little bips like his eyes, etc. Here's the first highlight on the fur. I hate just like narrating what I do in these videos. I feel like that's not good, but at the same time, I don't really have any like history things to just like drone about right now, which is my go-to for my life when I've got nothing to talk about. But whatever. I'm liking how this guy's coming. You can see in the background some history things. I'm finally trying to finish the Wheats Battalion guys, but that's beside the point. So, building up the highlights on his fur. You might find yourself asking, hey Tyler, why did you paint the black of his bandolier and other things if you're just like dry brushing over it with not a care in the world? And my answer to that is I accidentally did them out of order. But then I realized that I do like to dry brush like leather sometimes with this kind of really, really light brown / like cream. I think this is like a khaki and a light brown mix that I'm using right now. But anyway, that tone of color I like to very lightly dry brush leather with, because it makes it look a little worn. And for like a quick extra layer to like a leather pouch, or for historical models like a cartridge box or something like that, it's great to add a little bit of dust or like wear on your leather. So it actually works out really nicely, because when I go back to the blacks on this model, especially like the leather, it gives it a little more like world, like lived in kind of like world vibiness. So when I go back with the black on the bandolier, which you'll see in a little bit, I'll leave some of that dry brush there. And his nails, I'm doing just like any other, kind of off-white bone kind of, thing I would do on any monster or a miniature, where I start with a cream color and then I'll work up to like kind of a white, and then wash where it meets the skin. And look at this, a classic little bit of metal. Then we're gonna jump to his eyes, because I love painting eyes. This model's got great visible eyes, easy to paint. Anyone who paints it will be able to do them without a problem. And then I'm adding a little bit more to the bandana around his neck, because I want that to be like a nice solid color there without too much of the wash diluting it. Then I decided, instead, it's nice to just have like the classic 3 primary colors on a model, especially like all focused around the face too. I think that really like, it obviously draws your eye to the face of the model. And And for this guy, the face is like so cute and silly. You know, like I think it's a nice way to accent it. But anyway, I just did yellow polka dots on the bandana. I was gonna do something like more, maybe like try to like freehand something else on it. But I just like the idea of a yellow polka dot bandana that this bear likes to wear while he's blasting away at zombies in the dirty streets of Mordheim. I'm going back to the gunmetal color. Once again, because the face is the focal point for this, I didn't want to highlight the blunderbuss so much that it's like a crazy distraction. So I keep the stock or the butt of the musket or blunderbuss, sorry, pretty subdued and dark, and the gunmetal color there, whatever I used, I forget. Once it's washed, it's, you know, doesn't really stand out that much. Little highlight on the fez. I think I do this highlight, and then this is just the same color again after the wash. I did like a crimson wash on that fez, and then I once again will do one more highlight on the fez, and I just add a little bit of orange into the red, and do a little more of a highlight at some point. And this nose, I kept staring at this, being like, why does this look wrong? It looks so wrong. And then all of a sudden I painted the nose, and I was just like, oh, because it's, you know, the most distinctive thing of a bear's face is its, you know, its nose, and I didn't have it painted. So anyway, I really pulled it together nicely. And I'm painting the linen or leather ties that are keeping the charges on the bandolier there, highlighting his knuckles, and, you know, there's not a lot of fur on his hands, so doing a fun thing. Same kind of color as the face, so his hands and his face kind of pop and stand out. Some dry brushing on the base, and he's looking like he's, you know, a model now. You could totally paint the rim black or whatever, and you know, he could be ready for the tabletop. There's that orange red mix, just for a little bit of a subtlety there to make it pop a little more, because that fez is like such a big part of this model. I wanted to just, you know, keep highlighting it until I felt good about it. And I think now I'm just hitting the blacks, and some of the fur was just like a dark, like a black wash, a diluted black wash, just to add some depth to places where I think it, you know, needs it. Not that, I mean, I don't even know if it matters after it dries, if you can even tell, but it seemed right in the at the time. So giving him some baby blues, and then after I'm done with the blue, I'm going to go back with black, and then just dot a pupil in each eye. I love painting creatures and, you know, zombies and all sorts of things that can look a little goofy or silly or like unsettling. I love painting them with wall eyes. I just love the idea of like two eyes that are almost looking at you, but this model was a perfect candidate for a classic Tyler walleye model. And it's really hard to paint walleyes to look intentionally wall-eyed, because so many miniatures have, you know, if like you're not used to painting eyes, or if someone isn't necessarily that good at painting eyes or whatever, the joke is that like the eyes are looking in different directions. So like a Space Marine or Imperial Guardsman shouldn't necessarily have, you know, wall eyes, or like, you know, an Empire soldier. But like a zombie or like a funny creature like this, I just love the idea of like one eye just being like slightly off. To me, that's just fun. And it's like, you know, adds to the character of the miniature after it's all said and done. So I don't even know if that translates, or if this is just like a ramble or like some sort of like subconscious excuse to paint eyes poorly. But I really do like painting wall eyes on creatures and characters if it looks good. And here's a subtle highlight on the tassel for the fez. I decided to go with the blue tassel. Historically, fezes, depending on where they were from, what regiment they were wearing, if they were in the military, you know, There's examples of red tassels and blue tassels and yellow tassels, etc. But I think blue and red always contrast nicely, and blue on red is like one of my. That's what I think of when I think of fezzes for some specific American Civil War reasons and 19th century French reasons. So that's on my brain is hitting this fez. So here we are almost at the end. I'm doing some last minute shading and just like adding depth to his, the inside of his mouth and just around his ears and things. But that's him. That's pretty much the model right there. Like I said, I didn't go crazy. I'm pretty happy with how he came out. Added some leaves to his base because I thought that would time in with the rest of my Mordheim collection. Most of my Mordheim warbands have little leaves on their bases like this. But yeah, I mean, what a model. What a model. I'm very excited to see this get into people's hands. Here he is with another one of his brothers. And here he is with the art that I did on the back. And hopefully we see you at Under the Dice Fest 2026, where you can see this model in person. And if you're really nice, maybe I'll sell it to you or just give it to you. Who knows?